Next, let's do a detailed case study that will make all the concepts which we have discussed in this lecture very clear to you. And the case study goes like this. The following graph represents noodles market. Now friends, please notice this graph very carefully. As you can see, this vertical axis shows the price represented by P and horizontal axis Q shows the quantity. We have this upward sloping curve S1 which shows supply and this downward sloping curve D1 which shows demand curve. Finally, where these curves intersects gives our equilibrium price P1 and quantity Q1. Now answer next 8 questions based on data given. What happens to the equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity given different shifts in demand or supply or both in following 8 scenarios? And the first question is, a major noodles producer enters the market. And the options are given to you. That is, first option is equilibrium price will increase and equilibrium quantity will decrease. Then second option is equilibrium price will increase and equilibrium quantity will also increase. Then third option is equilibrium price will decrease and equilibrium quantity will increase. And last option D is both equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity will decrease. Now friends, please note, if a major noodles player enters the market, then the supply will get increased, isn't it? And we have already learned earlier in the lecture that if supply is increased, then supply curve shifts towards right. So let's shift this supply curve S1 to the right to a new position S2. Now can you tell me what will happen to equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity? Well, it's very easy to answer from this graph only. As you can see, our equilibrium point will be this point of intersection of D1 and S2. I will just draw a line to price axis showing the equilibrium price P2 and equilibrium quantity is shown by Q2 here. So you can see that our equilibrium price will go down and equilibrium quantity will increase. Thus the correct answer for the given question is option C. So friends, I hope this very important question is clear to you. Next question is, government imposed ban on a major noodles producer. And these options are given to you. And here also you have to tell what will happen to equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity. So friends, just pause the video and tell what will happen to this graph and especially to equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity. Yes friends, with government imposing ban, the supply will go down. And we have learned that when supply reduces, the supply curve shifts left. And so the new graph will look like this. Let's say this new shifted supply curve is S2. So new equilibrium point will be this point of intersection between S2 and D1. Finally, this P2 will be our new equilibrium price and Q2 will be our new equilibrium quantity. Friends, I hope now you can clearly notice that this new equilibrium price has gone up and new equilibrium quantity has gone down. Thus the correct option for the given question is option A. Now friends, before moving ahead with the lecture, don't forget to get your JAIIB resources from the links given in description to this video. These 4 books are 1000 series question banks of Indian economy and Indian financial system, accounting and financial management for bankers, retail banking and wealth management, and finally principles and practices of banking paper of JAIIB. All these are chapter-wise question banks for your best results. So don't forget to get your question banks from the links given in description to this video. Now let's move forward with the lecture. Next question is, a new COVID wave started and demand for packaged food grows. And these answer choices are given to you. Friends, again please pause the video and draw the graph yourself. So as you can see in this question that demand has gone up. And we have learned that when demand goes up, the demand curve shifts rightward like this. Let's say this new demand curve is D2 with new equilibrium price of P2 and new equilibrium quantity of Q2. And as you can see, the new equilibrium price increases and new equilibrium quantity also increases. Thus the correct option for the given question is option B. Next question is, a new lab report says that the lead content in most noodles in the market is substantially high. And these answer choices are given to you. Now friends, in this case the demand for noodles will decrease as there is new report that lead content in noodles is substantially high, and so people will eat less. So friends, with less demand, the demand curve will shift leftward like this, and this will make this new equilibrium point. Let's say this new demand curve is D2 with equilibrium price P2 and equilibrium quantity is Q2. Finally, you can notice that equilibrium price will decrease and equilibrium quantity will also decrease. Thus, the correct option for the given question is option D here. Next question is, a major supplier enters the noodles market and study comes out that noodles causes cancer. And these options are given to you. Now friends, please note the question statement very carefully. On one hand, a major supplier enters the market, so this will increase the supply. But on the other hand, study also comes out that noodles causes cancer. So this will also decrease demand. And please note, both these factors will affect both demand curve and supply curve. The demand curve will shift leftward to D2 since demand will go down, and new supply curve will shift right to S2 since new seller enters the market, which will increase the supply. So the new curve will look like this. The new equilibrium price will be P2 and new equilibrium quantity will be Q2. Now friends, please listen very carefully. As from the graph, it is very clear that equilibrium price will definitely go down. But the position of this equilibrium quantity will depend upon how right shifted the supply curve is. If right shift is less, then this Q2 will be towards left of Q1. And if the shift is high, then this Q2 will be towards right of Q1. I hope this very important point is clear to you. So you can't clearly tell where this new equilibrium quantity lies. And so we can say that equilibrium quantity is indeterminate in this case. Thus the correct answer for the given question is option D. Next question is, government imposes ban on a major seller and demand for packaged food items increases. And these options are given to you. Friends, this question is also similar to previous question. Just try it yourself. Well, in this case, supply will go down and demand will go up. So the new curve will look like this. And as you can see, supply curve will shift left and demand curve will shift right. Finally, we can conclude that new equilibrium price will go up without any doubt. But equilibrium quantity is indeterminate here, as was the case in last question. So the correct option for the given question is option A. The next question is, both demand and supply curve of noodles increases. And these options are given to you. Friends, I hope by now you can easily tackle this question. So for this question, new demand and supply curve will look like this. And as you can see, equilibrium quantity without any doubt has gone up. But equilibrium price in this case is indeterminate. It depends upon how far or less we shift this demand curve. So the correct option for the given question is option B. So friends, finally we have reached the last question of this case study. And the question is, both supply and demand for noodles increased in the market. And these options are given to you. Now friends, I am assigning this question to you. Just try it yourself. And if you face any issue in solving this question, please mail the query to me. Now as a hint, I am showing the graph after shift of both demand and supply curve. And the correct option for the given question is option C. So friends, I hope the case study is clear to you. You will find questions and case studies similar to this in your examination. So just remember the facts which we discussed in this lecture and you won't face any issue in solving questions in examination from this topic of demand, supply and equilibrium. Now friends, before moving ahead with the lecture, don't forget to get your JAIIB resources from the links given in description to this video. These 4 books are 1000 series question banks of Indian economy and Indian financial system, accounting and financial management for bankers, retail banking and wealth management, and finally principles and practices of banking paper of JAIIB. All these are chapter-wise question banks for your best results. So don't forget to get your question banks from the links given in description to this video. So with this I wind up this lecture. So thank you and I will meet you again in next lecture.